What's up? What it is? What it do? Oh my goobers, goblins in between. Everybody else, how y'all doing? I've been wanting to hit on this one. I was just waiting for an update. DoorDash girl. If you somehow don't know nothing about her, this girl, I think last year at this point, if not early this year, um, posted a TikTok video, and Tosie's probably gonna go over it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Posted a TikTok video saying that she was assaulted while door dashing, and that's how she left the story after getting taken down a couple times because TikTok took it down a couple times, and then DoorDash banned her. And I think she got banned on TikTok, but I don't really remember that 100%. But she said this dude assaulted her by being passed out on his couch with no pants on, like naked, right? Or his pants around his ankle, something like that. But she kept saying she was assaulted. What she didn't add in is that delivery said to place it down outside the door, and then she chose to open the door and film it. And that's why TikTok got her take the video taken down, because she showed his body, which is also what she's being charged for, because he was unconsenting and unconscious and showed his nude body online. Dude didn't even know about it until someone posted, showed him the post. So now we get to catch up on what federal charges she getting.
The TikTok DoorDash girl filmed a naked man passed out inside his own home and then posted it for nearly 30 million people to see, and then claimed that she was the victim. So, naturally, she got hit with 2 felony charges, and after months of failed plea negotiations, she has decided to fight this thing in front of a jury.
This is related. They just punished me for posting about my while door dashing. They just fired me. And the police are doing nothing. I lost my job, and that was my only way to make money to pay my bills.
Now, if you watched my last video on this case, you would know that we've been waiting forever for something to actually happen in this case. I literally flew to Oswego, New York to watch Olivia Henderson appear in court, only to just, get there, see everyone. I saw her there, and then everything got postponed. Or well, it wasn't technically postponed because it got moved up to county court. So essentially, I just had to pack up my bags, go home, and waited. Then she got indicted months later. And now, after even more months of court dates and motions, and I guess trying to work things out behind the scenes, we finally know what's going on because Olivia Henderson is preparing to go to trial.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this one because I think if it wasn't for the fact that, well, there's an alleged ring camera that captured her opening the door. So apparently the door was like not shut all the way, but it was unlocked. It was kind of cracked open, but not enough to where you could see. So the only way you could see this gentleman sleeping, passed out, was to actually physically open the door and go in filming with a camera, which is what she did. Because again, she had the original video, and he took it down. Now you can't find that version anywhere. Supposedly, also in her original version, for what I've been told, is she said that she admitted that she opened the door, and then once it was taken down, she changed it to the door was wide open. But allegedly, there's a ring camera that caught her pushing it open, and got all that, her doing that on film. So I haven't seen it. Nobody's seen it, and probably likely won't see it until after this court case is over with.
The internet can't seem to get enough of the criminal case of Olivia Henderson, the now former DoorDash driver, on TikTok, claiming she was harassed by a customer, naked, asleep on his couch, when she delivered his order last year. But then police,
Which he also doesn't even remember doing, because he was out drinking with friends and came back apparently in his drunken stupor, ordered DoorDash, and then fell asleep on the couch with his pants down. Like that, I don't know how led to be, but yeah, he don't even remember doing it because he did it while he was essentially blackout drunk. And then she shows up and does her thing. Well, all she had to do, and everybody said it initially, all you had to do was drop the food off and leave. It was that easy, and you chose not to do it.
charged her because she recorded him and posted the video.
So she appeared in Oswego County Court again on July 31st, and Olivia and prosecutors have failed to reach a plea agreement, which is pretty big because remember, what she's accused of doing here back in October 2025, Olivia was delivering a DoorDash order when she arrived at a customer's house, and according to her, she found the door open. And inside was a dude passed out on his couch naked from the waist down. Police later said that he was drunk, unconscious, and incapacitated, so Olivia recorded him from the outside of the apartment and posted the footage to TikTok, where it absolutely exploded. And we're talking 30 million views. I mean, that is a lot of people seeing a passed out dude naked. That is not ideal, especially because obviously this was without his consent. Then she also...
Yeah, the fact that her first action was to film it and post it on TikTok shows how jacked up her mindset was when doing this. If you actually felt harassed and thought this was assault, you would have reported it to the police or at least called somebody to come check on the guy. You chose to record it, post it on TikTok because it would get you views and get you your 15 minutes of fame where you try to make some money off of it.
Claimed that the man had intentionally exposed himself to her and said that she had been assaulted. The woman who recorded a man without his permission while he was unconscious claimed that she was assaulted by said unconscious man. Something's not adding up here. Regardless, police investigated this and said they found no evidence that an assault actually occurred. So they said there was no physical contact, and their investigation concluded that the man had been unconscious on his couch.
Which, just FYI, nice little tidbit more you know part. It's only assault if they touch you. Harassment, sure, that can definitely fall under harassment, but it's only assault if they actually touch you. Physical contact has to be made for assault, right? Harassment is the term that she likely was looking for, but assault always sounds better when you're trying to play victim. So you scream assault and it blew up in her face.
Couch because of alcohol. And last time I checked, it's not illegal to pass out drunk on your own sofa. It is very unfortunate that the dude managed to leave his door open though. Regardless though, the man wasn't charged, Olivia was. And she's now facing 2 felony charges: second-degree unlawful surveillance and first-degree dissemination of an unlawful surveillance image. So this is the act of filming him and then the act of posting these videos on TikTok. But here's where this update gets really interesting, because for months, I mean, one of my biggest questions was, how do you defend this? Because, you know, she filmed it and she posted it. That's what she's being charged for. Well, I would think this would be case closed because there isn't too much mystery about it. And apparently, her own attorney also agrees with that part. So her public defender, David Smallwood, told News Channel 9, I think there's very little argument on what the evidence actually is, on what actually happened.
Her public defender challenging the prosecution's narrative she invaded her victim's privacy, an argument he's asking the judge to rule on.
Well, it is reasonable to expect for most people that you have privacy. If you do something to not have privacy, then you no longer have a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Emphasizing it was the custom.
So he's saying because the door was open, you no longer have a reasonable expectation of privacy, which I could agree on. If your door was wide open, you can't be surprised if somebody walks over there and looks, but that does not entitle someone to film you and post it online. So I don't know what his point is. Like, and maybe that's why they're still trying to reach a plea deal. Because he knows this goes to court. She's fried. She is completely fried if this goes to court, because she voluntarily posted all her own evidence, posted every video after the fact. Like, you'd think she would have realized it early on that it's not looking good for her and I should probably stop, but she continued doing so anyways up until she was arrested.
Who left the solid door open with just the glass door as the barrier to his home.
And that seems to be the argument they're preparing to take into court. They're not really fighting over whether Olivia filmed and posted the man. They're fighting over whether doing that actually meets the legal requirement of, you know, these felony charges. And I guess a huge part of this argument comes down to 2 questions. First, how much privacy can you legally expect from inside your home when your front door is open? And number 2, was this man's front door even open in the first place? Because Olivia's attorney is now leaning hard into that first question. Smallwood says the homeowner's door was left wide open, exposing him to the public. Basically, the defense appears to be arguing, yes, this man was inside his own home, but the door was wide open, so anyone could see him from the street. So essentially, if his door was wide open and someone standing outside could see him, that he still have reasonable expectation that no one would see or record him. And I guess that distinction matters because the unlawful surveillance charge involves recording someone at a place and time which that person has reasonable expectation of privacy. This isn't...
Yeah, but take the same thing and say it was some woman's window, right? If she left her blinds open and some dude was walking by and saw her changing and stood outside and filmed it and posted it online, there would be no question of this. Like, definitely gender swap the whole thing. There would be no question. She would be the biggest victim in the world. Like, she would hide her face in shame and be upset that all these people saw her naked. Which, again, I'm not saying she's wrong for feeling that way. It is upsetting to have, but the argument is stupid, because if you take this same thing and use the situation that I just said, or even in the same situation, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Just like Olivia's attorney standing up there and going, well, what she did wasn't that bad. No, he's attacking the actual part that the prosecutors have to prove. I can at least understand the legal question they're raising. Like, if you're standing naked in front of a giant open window facing a crowded sidewalk, do you really think no one's gonna see you? But I guess that brings us to the second question, because before we spend 10 minutes debating on what an open door does to your right to privacy, I would like to know whether this door was actually open or not. Because Olivia is saying it wasn't. We had early reports saying that it was like open, but not fully open, and that she pushed it open. But the big problem with that is we haven't seen any proof that that was the case. All we really have is Olivia's side of the story, and obviously the video. So essentially, Olivia's maintained that she arrived and found that door open. And some of the more recent reporting describes it that way too. The Oswego County News reported in June that the police said that she arrived to the customer's apartment and found the door open. But if you
And the problem is that early on, it was said that she pushed it open. There were videos supposedly saying that she pushed it open, and the issue became that it was deleted by TikTok, and every time she posted another video, she recorded a fresh video. So she didn't make the same video and keep posting the same video over and over and over, right? She made the video, TikTok took it down. So she made another video, TikTok took it down. And every time it was always a little different, until she finally posted her screaming reaction videos on there.
remember the original controversy, people were going frame by frame through the footage and were questioning whether that was actually what happened. Because you had a whole bunch of claims online, at least early on in the story, where people said the door wasn't wide open and that Olivia maybe pushed it further open herself before filming inside. And that obviously would be a very different situation, because obviously there's a massive difference between I walked up to this house and there was a naked man visible right there, or she walked up, the door was kind of open but not fully open, she kind of saw a glimpse of the guy and then pushed open. I don't know. There was also some early reporting alleging there was ring camera footage from a neighbor. So again, this will be really interesting to see if that's true or not. And right now, based on the reporting we have, I don't think we should pretend that the question has been completely settled. What we do know is that police said Olivia recorded the man from outside the apartment. We know Olivia says the front door was open. And now we also know that her attorney is arguing that the door was wide open and that this man gave up some reasonable expectation of privacy.
And the issue with that is, and at least what the prosecution will have, is proving that was wide open, because you only see it from her perspective. You only see when she started recording, and unless that ring camera exists and you see her pushing it open, it's doggone near impossible to prove that she herself didn't push it open. Unless she somehow they take her phone, they dig through the files, they dig through the footage and see about recovering that, or if TikTok somehow still has access to the same original video and they could get that, there's no way the prosecution to prove where it was open. The only argument I would say that they can really make is in the example I gave, where if a woman is changing and she left her blinds open, is it the same thing? Which I would say, if it's not like Tozy said, if she's standing there full frontal nude and it's a crowded sidewalk, yeah, definitely not. You're looking out the window, like you are aware people are looking, and you probably want it. I knew somebody like that when I was in my core school, where the girl would literally intentionally stand there with her in her bra with the window wide open. She looked for that, and several times on watch, we had to go tell her, close your blinds, close your blinds, close your blinds. And she wouldn't do it. She liked the attention. But we could not do anything about it, because we, as the roving watch, just could only tell her, close the blinds. Like, we don't have the authority to do anything extra, except verbally tell her to do it. But notorious for it. She was notorious. She was known for it. She did it on purpose because she liked the attention. In this case, if the person was not doing that on purpose, again, let's say they accidentally forgot the blinds are open and somebody was taking pictures, that person would be a victim of, and I'm pretty sure they would say the guy was peeping, right? He was a peeping Tom. That's what that phrase comes from, stuff like that. Like, he didn't make any extra effort to climb up a tree and do it, because then, yeah, the expectation of privacy is gone. It's there because she's inside her own home, and he made extra effort to get up into that window. But if she did the same thing, was a woman in the same situation, we would not be having this conversation whatsoever. And they have to look at it, because if the defense wins that on that argument, this sets the standard for other things down the line. This sets the same standard for this happens to a woman. All they got to do is come back and reference this case. And now you have maybe an actual threat who's looking for these doors to be like that. Oh, this door was open because it was unlocked. And he opens the door, pushes it open. And now he has this woman who was sleeping on her couch. And he can make the same argument and potentially win referencing this case.
But whether the evidence actually backs that up, I guess we'll see that in court. Because obviously, if the entire defense leans on the dude's door being wide open, hopefully nothing comes out that disproves that. But regardless, despite all of that, all the headlines are now saying Olivia Henderson is officially going to trial. And there will be one big hurdle before we actually get there, because her attorney is trying to get these charges thrown out. Smallwood has asked the judge to review the grand jury record and determine whether prosecutors gave enough evidence to actually support an indictment. And remember, this grand jury is the reason Olivia ended up in the county court in the first place. So back in May, prosecutors presented their evidence privately to a grand jury, and the grand jury voted to indict Olivia on both felony charges. And no, that doesn't mean they found her guilty. It means the prosecutors have cleared the hurdle necessary to move forward with the case. But now, Olivia's defense is challenging that indictment. And based on Smallwood's comments, we have a much better idea of why. He isn't really disputing the basic sequence of events. Again, he basically just said there's really no arguing what the evidence is, which is also kind of a wild sentence to hear from a defense attorney in a case like this, because, you know, that's been the point from the beginning. Like, at the end of the day here, we're not trying to figure out who held the camera and who posted these videos. Even Olivia herself has publicly talked about posting it and why she believes she was justified in doing so. So the legal fight is over whether those actions.
Yeah, and no matter what she say, there's no way she was justified in doing so. She was not assaulted. She was outside of his home. You could have easily put that down, turned around, and walked away. You chose to stand there and film it, and then turn the camera on yourself into a selfie mode and continue yapping about it. And then continually making videos about it. You were not assaulted. Nothing happened to you. You were told to put the food down and walk away, and you chose not to do it. You're in this situation because your own choices. She's not a victim. She is definitely the criminal in this case.
Actually satisfies the crimes prosecutors were charging her with, and if the judge agrees with the defense, that they don't. So who knows? I mean, the charges could actually be dismissed at Olivia's next court date on September 9th. So technically, there is still a path that she might not get a trial at all. But if that challenge fails, we're going to court. Because the other huge update from this hearing is that Olivia and the prosecutors have failed to reach a plea agreement. And this is interesting to me because in my last video, I said a plea deal seemed like the most likely way this would all end. Apparently not, though. At least not so far. I mean, we don't know exactly what was offered during these negotiations, what Olivia would want to accept or not, or which side refused to budge. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what's going on, but I am surprised a plea deal didn't happen. And the trial can happen as early as October if all this goes through. Although there is actually another unrelated trial affecting the court's schedule, so if that gets in the way, the trial would actually happen in January, which I think I was in Oswego in January of 2020 of this year. So if we actually don't go to trial for a full year after the first time I appeared, that would be crazy. Regardless, it was very cold there in January, I can confirm. This would definitely be a very interesting case to be a juror on, though. Like, imagine the shock, not hearing about any of this, and you find out some woman did this on TikTok, and you're sitting here like, there's no way this is real, but it is. This is definitely a top 10 jury duty trial. The one that takes the cake is absolutely the TikTok psychic one, though. I mean, that must have been a full.
That's another lady who did all that to herself. You put yourself in a situation because she calls herself a psychic and said that this lady killed somebody else and just was straight up wrong about it. Of course she was wrong. It was expected that she was wrong. It'd be more of a shock if she was correct. But 100% wrong. And then doubled down. After being proven wrong, she doubled down on the whole thing and is now in the situation she's in. Again, it's her own fault.
Full-on trip for everyone who was a juror on that case. But regardless, this is just a horror story of how some dude passed out drunk in his apartment and woke up the next morning with 30 million people having seen his junk. Not ideal. But there is also another part of this that I don't want to get lost in the legal arguments. Like, even if Olivia could see this man from where she was standing, seeing someone and recording their naked body, that's two different things. And recording it and then posting it for nearly 30 million people online to watch, that's a whole nother step as well. And that's ultimately what the prosecutors are accusing her of doing.
And I would even argue she did it for money. She did it for money. She did it to get paid by TikTok. She knows it would get views because I imagine she was fair. I've never heard of this girl until she did all this, until she was making all the noise about it. I'm pretty sure you could argue she did it for money, and that would make it so much worse that she did it for money. Instead of putting the food down or turn around walking away, she did it with the intention of, I could go viral because of this. And if I go viral and I get these views, I'll get paid. That's where I would argue if I was a prosecution, is that she did this for monetary incentives.
This is also why I just think this whole situation is so crazy, and the way it's unfolding is just crazy as well. Olivia originally posted the video because she wanted, I guess, to warn other female delivery drivers and expose what she believed this man had done to her. But instead, police investigated her allegations, said they found no evidence that an assault occurred, and arrested her instead. And now prosecutors eventually secured a felony indictment. Now again, the plea negotiations have apparently gone nowhere. Her attorney is trying to knock out the indictment, and unless the judge agrees to dismiss these charges on September 9th, Olivia Henderson could be sitting in front of an Oswego County jury as early as October. So this is how we went from a viral TikTok to an arrest and now to a grand jury indictment. Drop a like on this video if you want me to actually fly out there and cover it again. But until then, I shall get some sleep because I have a raging
Yeah, go get Tozy. Like, I want to see him go back out there. I want to see him go back out there and look at this and talk about this again. Because I'm going to keep track of it on my own too. But I like when he goes and covers things because he actually will physically go out there and give you the stuff that happened in person. And you're not hearing it from like fourth person over like me. What y'all guys think? I want to know if y'all think she right, she wrong. Maybe she should have took a plea deal. I feel like she's stubborn enough to turn down a plea deal because she still feel like she's in the right. I don't know. That's just me though. So let me know what you guys think. Please continue subscribing. I done broke the 30 barrier. I think I was at like 33, 34 subscribers. So the horde again is still slowly growing strong. I like that progress. Appreciate it. Love you guys. But I'm out. Deuces.